Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into Slinger's Shelves. Wanted to do a throwback today to an old custom Superman piece, kind of in reference to the 40th anniversary of The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, that 40 years past February 26 came out in 86. So, in that four-part comic series, Frank Miller introduced us obviously to a different Batman, a little bit old and grizzled, and then he introduced us to a different version of Superman that not many people, I don't think anybody had ever seen that version of Superman before. Drew him very big, almost just a big brute type of hero. Um, just a big old curly piece of hair sticking out of the front, big emblem on the chest, which you can see there, even into a little bit of his stomach. So that's what this piece is referencing here. Obviously, this piece is also referencing a very famous comic book cover by Jim Lee, where Superman is standing on top of the city of Metropolis, on top of a building overlooking Metropolis, just kind of making sure everything's going okay. So that's where the pose comes from. The big sweeping cape out to the front is very, very symbolic from that comic cover. Everything else, the build, how big the hero is, big Superman is, the big poof of hair, the big emblem, all of that is very Frank Miller styled. So you can see here on the base, we've got Metropolis. Spin it around a little. We've got a chromed out eagle's face or eagle's head. Um, and then on the side here, we got LexCorp, obviously referencing Lex Luthor. And then you can see the big cape just billows all the way around the big emblem and comes all the way a little bit on the other side. And there he is there. So again, a couple of head sculpts here. You can see this one, the big poof of hair, very Frank Miller style. Couple others here. This is a very classic Superman take, square jaw, a little bit shorter haircut, just more modern. So that's that look there. And then taking him off is this one, the bearded Superman. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of the bearded Superman. I don't know anything about the story behind it, where he got it from, why he got it. I don't know any of that. I just don't think it's ever really fit the character. So, but that's just me. And the last one, I've seen a couple of comic covers with this look. Um, it's a lot longer hair. It's up on the front. You can see it there. And even on the back, where the cape is, you can see it flows down over the back of the cape. So a lot longer hair, almost kind of looks like a mullet a little bit. But, anyways, there's that. But for me, um, definitely the Frank Miller look with that iconic poof of hair sticking out. Frank Miller's art, one could call it divisive. I think most of the time it's either you can appreciate the art or you just don't like it at all. At least that's kind of what I've run into, both stuff based in the statue world and also comic based stuff as well. Um, there is no denying, though, that that story, that four-part Dark Knight Return story, was very, very important in the comic book world for coming out when it did, and the industry and where it was at that time. So this is an older piece. I want to say maybe, gosh, maybe 6 to 8 years old. There was only 35 of them made. The funny thing there is I was on the Cool Run. I got one of the very first ones, had it for a long time, kind of went through my collection and was selling some stuff. And I ended up selling this piece. And a couple weeks later, I regretted that very quickly. So I quickly jumped back in and tracked it down again and reacquired it. And it's not leaving my collection anytime soon. So very happy to have this. Um, I'm going to do some close ups, get you guys a little bit extra detail there, and we'll get right back. All right. So, again, some close ups, but you can see that that piece on the hair just really pops out there. As you go around and around, you can see did a really good job on that. One of the things about Frank Miller is he made him very big, just kind of this brute of a person. Um, the rumor was is Frank Miller never liked the character of Superman, so he kind of changed his dimensions and things like that. I don't know too much about that rumor. Can't really say if it's true, but then there's that. And then you got the LexCore around the side. So very cool piece. All right, guys. So that is kind of a look at this older custom Superman based on Frank Miller's art from The Dark Knight Returns. Uh, Based the statue pose, obviously, on the comic book cover by Jim Lee. So kind of a honor of 40th anniversary of Dark Knight Returns. Very, very well done piece. Very, very cool. So if you have one, you know, but this one's staying with me for a while. Very well done. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one.